Jim Klein and our district attorney for Westmoreland County, John Peck. I'm going to start off by introducing and asking our Chief Klein to come up and address you, but what I would like to ask is that he has some things to do. He's not going to be able to stay for very long or answer any questions. He has a lot of other responsibilities. So at this point in time, Chief.
Thanks, Steve. First, let me start by saying the small sense of relief that we feel as a department and as a community that Mr. Holt was taken into custody. We are very, very thankful that he was taken into custody and nobody else was injured. That was a major concern, but we are very, very thankful that nobody else was injured in this incident. I am also feeling a sense of relief for the city of New Kensington, because I know they've been on high alert and on edge for the past several days, and hopefully this gives them a little bit of relief that this is coming to an end. I want to thank everybody that was involved in this. The amount of time and effort that went into this investigation truly probably can never be explained to where you guys will be able to understand it. These guys, everybody, when I said the other day multi-jurisdictional, state, federal, local levels, that's no lie. Everybody put in an amount of effort that was just remarkable, round the clock since the incident happened. Where we go from here is the police department. At this point now, we will be able to try and start to grieve with the Shaw family. Funeral details for tomorrow, if you guys don't already have them, will be coming out later today with the procession route and all the other details that need to be on there, where for everybody to go. Our department will be getting back to police operations later this week. We are going to have grief counselors here for all the officers, naturally, staff, city employees. We'll definitely be bringing in professionals so that we have people to talk to express our feelings. But I want the city of New Kensington residents to know that soon they will be seeing us back out there on the street. We will be the ones coming and knocking on your door when you're reporting that barking dog complaint. We will be the ones coming and knocking on your door when you're reporting any type of incident going on in this city. We will be back. Last, but definitely not least, thank you to the citizens of New Kensington who offered. Our officers are dedicated to providing the best possible service to protect you and keep you safe. There is no better example than Officer Brian Shaw, who gave his life serving this community. I promise you that our officers will continue to serve with the same honor that Brian did, the same dedication and professional service that you guys expect and you guys will receive. As Trooper Lamani expressed, at this time I'm not going to field any questions. I will make myself available at the beginning of next week to schedule another press conference for you guys to be able to ask questions, and we'll do it at that time. But at this time, it's important for me to get and spend time with the Shaw family, and I ask for your I ask that you guys understand that, please. If I could ask one last thing of the media, please give the Shaw family time to grieve. Please respect them in all aspects. please don't be trying to find them and phone call them and show up at their house. That's not what they need right now. They need the love and support of everybody in this area. Thank you very much.
At this point in time, I'd like to invite our District Attorney, John Peck, to come up, and he's going to give you a brief synopsis of the incident that took place and where the investigation is right now. So please.
Thank you, Trooper Lamonti. Good morning. I think it's important for me to say on behalf of all law enforcement here in Westmoreland County, and I'm sure I'm speaking for agencies beyond our borders, that our deepest sympathies and condolences to Mr. and Mrs. Shaw and to Brian's brother, Stephan. One of our brothers is dead under the most violent and senseless actions, and even though that affects every one of us grievously. Next, I'd also want to reiterate what the chief has said, that in terms of thanking the many law enforcement agencies who've rushed to assist us on Friday evening, including the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, the Office of Attorney General in Pennsylvania here, as well as other local departments. As you know, on that evening, Officer Shaw attempted to make a traffic stop near and on Lishman Avenue in the city of New Kensington at approximately 8 p.m. He was following a Jeep vehicle, and before he could cause the stop to occur, the passenger in that vehicle exited the vehicle and began running. We know from a video surveillance that we see a Jeep vehicle traveling along the 1200 block of Lishman Avenue, and immediately thereafter you see two individuals with Officer Shaw as the person pursuing another individual. The first individual, who's been now identified as Ramal Holt, turns into a parking area next to I think it's called the City Outreach Church. It's formerly the Knights of Columbus Hall here in New Kensington. At that time, you can see that there's a gun flash. Officer Shaw appears to be hit and stand up and then go down again. And you can see the person he's pursuing go to the alley and turn in a southerly direction. Fortunately, Officer Shaw was able to identify the vehicle registration plate of the car he was attempting to stop. Based on that fact, police were able to locate that vehicle a short distance from the scene, and based on that information, we're able to find the driver of that car. So we've been investigating the case since that Friday night continuously, really relentlessly, and eventually we were led to Rommel Hall, and when a warrant was issued on Sunday. And through the tremendous efforts of the U.S. Marshal's Office and other federal agencies, Mr. Holt was able to be located this morning in the Hazelwood area of Pittsburgh. And I understand that he's been arraigned at our magistrate's office, Mr. Pallone, and that he's now in the custody of the Westmoreland County Prison. The investigation is still at a very preliminary stage at this point. We're still attempting to locate people who had contact with Mr. Holt before this incident and after this incident. We'll make decisions about the nature, the extent and nature of this crime at a later time when we have all the information gathered. Further detail I think I will tell you is the fact that there were several shots fired at Officer Shaw that evening. We estimated at least at least 6 shots were fired, and Officer Shaw was unfortunately struck multiple times as a result of that. Again, I can't emphasize enough that this case would not be where it's at today without the assistance of other local departments and the federal agencies and the Attorney General's office that I mentioned. These cases are never solved alone by one person or one department. It's only through the assistance and aid of others. It's always a joint effort, that we're able to be successful. So I certainly want to acknowledge their help and assistance and express my gratitude for myself as a citizen of the City of New Kensington, as well as for the City of New Kensington Police Department for all their assistance. Thank you.
John, can you tell us what led investigators and police this morning to that home in Hazelwood?
We had various information from informants, and that information pieced together with other capabilities that agencies have, they were able to locate Mr. Holt at that home.
Will any of those informants receive the reward, or will it be given to someone else?
I don't have enough information about the nature and extent of each and every informant's involvement to make any type of a answer to that question.
John, the initial traffic stop, why was Officer Schultz, something wrong with the vehicle? Was there a light? Was he simply following it in Holt Bay?
Well, from the information we have, and we don't have anything from Officer Shaw himself. He did not actually say the reason he was stopping it, but we believe from information we have, if it's reliable, that it was simply not stopping completely for a stop sign.
John, can you tell us anything about the arrest of Mr. Holt's mother for hindering his apprehension?
No, I really.
Other family members and relatives as well?
Well, obviously one of our main pursuits since we identified Mr. Holt as the perpetrator of this crime was to locate him. So, we expect cooperation from the communities, and from individuals in the community when they weren't cooperating, when they were hindering the apprehension of Mr. Holt, then decisions were made that resulted in the arrest of some individuals.
There was something in the criminal complaint, gentleman, that says that the gentleman driving the SUV, at some point he, in the criminal complaint, told officers that he actually tried to clip Holt as what was running away. Can you?
I think that's what is meant to be expressed by that is that Mr. Holt exited the car before it was stopped and ran in such a fashion that the driver says that he thought he nearly hit him or may have struck him in a very slight way.
So he's done with intent.
Right. He simply got near the car in his effort to evade Officer Shaw.
Was Officer Shaw wearing a vest?
Yes.
Did he manage to return fire?
Doesn't appear he did.
Are we able to determine, is there a weapon? Do you have this weapon allegedly?
As far as I know, we as yet do not have the weapon, but I think a search is being conducted of that home in Hazelwood, so at this time I don't have sufficient information to answer that question completely.
He was wearing the vest, so was he shot? Did the bullet enter through the side?
Well, I haven't seen the autopsy report, but I have no evidence that the vest failed in any way.
John, do you have any information on Mr. Holt's movements after the shooting Friday night?
We have gathered information, but nothing I can reveal at this time.
You can't tell us if he was in New Kensington or if he went to Pittsburgh?
Well, we know he eventually went to Pittsburgh, but I can't, with any certainty provide you with, what his route was and each location he was at during the last couple days.
John, can you talk in general terms? Was he bouncing from house to house to house almost immediately? Was it a period of time he spent more time in one house, or was he simply on the run from the minute the shots were fired?
Well, he was on the run, that's for sure, from the minute the shots were fired. There's no doubt about that. The different locations he was at different multiple locations over the last couple of days. We're still trying to, with certainty determine exactly which locations he was at. We haven't always gotten complete cooperation from people, so I'm a little hesitant to express any fact about where he was.
I know we said you don't have the weapon at this point. Do you know what type of weapon was used?
We know that there were 40 caliber casings that were found at in that parking area.
Okay, well, I appreciate everyone's time, and I feel like our district attorney has answered an ample amount of questions. They have a lot of work to do, so if you could please excuse us as we conclude this press conference. We really appreciate your attendance. We appreciate everything you've done to help us when it comes to getting information to solve this case, and I will be pushing out information to try and help you when it comes to the funeral details. So again, thank you very much for your attendance. We appreciate your time and your consideration in this matter, and that'll conclude this press conference.